Okay, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, students and members of the UNISA team. Thank you for joining us. It's now exactly 6 p.m. And welcome to our first Basic Skills for Online Exams webinar session. And it's getting closer to that time. The exams is just around the corner, and we are in the midst of getting you ready for the exam session. So we really want to walk you through some of the digital skills that are needed, how to actually engage in the online session. And I know that if we do this right, it'll ease off a little bit as you start preparing for the upcoming examination. As we start, please remember that these sessions are really for us to help you in terms of preparation. We will cover various topics which I will discuss just now with you. But what I want to quickly say is that you will find that we've disabled your cameras, disabled your microphones, and that's so that we don't have any disruptions through the session. However, I encourage you to please post your comments on the chat tool. You'll find the chat tool available for you. So please post your comments on the chat tool, and we have the colleagues working in the background who are ready to provide guidance for you on the chat and whatever you may need your assistance. Now, at this time, I also want to thank all our facilitators for today, the members of the EDO team, members of our external community who are also from the student communication center. Plus, we have the colleagues from Invigilator app, and they all have sacrificed this evening just to make sure that you are 100% ready in terms of the skills and competencies needed to engage the upcoming examination. With that said, let me start with a quick welcome by our current acting executive director for the Department of Tuition Support and Facilitation of Learning, Professor Makano, as she officially welcomes you to this session and also a word in preparation of the exams. Thank you.
Greetings, dear students. I am Professor Mahanu, the Acting Executive Director in the Department of Tuition Support and Facilitation of Learning. On behalf of ADOF, which is one unit in our Department of Tuition Support and Facilitation of Learning, I want to say our warm wishes for your exams that are coming. We know that you are experiencing a myriad of challenges. We are cognizant of what you are going through in different contexts, in different regions, and also different places across the globe. But we want to say, as a student of UNISA, also we know that you are resilient and no problem is bigger than you. Manage these challenges that want to deter you, that want to take you off path, and make sure that you make use of every little opportunity. Study hard, contact your module leader when you are experiencing challenges related to the academic matters, and contact the support department for any challenge that pertains to administrative matters. But we wish you all the best from DTSFM and ADOF. May all of you pass. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that was a word of welcome from Prof. Makano. And up, as I mentioned, we have a really good program for you in terms of preparing you for the upcoming examination. And what we'd also like for you to do is these 94% of students that actually attend these training sessions perform at ease in terms of the examination. And what we'd like for you to do is share the word around with your friends and your networks to really join these sessions. We will have these sessions running throughout the month, right up to the 24th to 26th of October, so that we really prepare you sufficiently in terms of the competencies needed. We will also have what we call student blast sessions, and these are sessions where you have the ability to join in, raise your questions, and we will be able to provide that strategic kind of guidance to you and support to you. So today we will cover issues such as the accessing the open myExams support site, how to access your exam from myExams. We will also cover a little bit about the exam types, MCQ quiz, take-home assignments. We will also talk about a little bit about academic integrity, and that's a critical one for us in terms of the institution. And then the most awaited, what are the proctoring tools that we will use for UNISA in terms of the upcoming examinations? We will also cover a little bit about the required devices in terms of the specs, so you know what is required from you. And then we've also set up some mock exam sites that will help you prepare as well. And finally, we will end up with the Student Support Contact Center and support for students with special needs. So this is the program, ladies and gentlemen, for the rest of the hour and a half, 2 hours with us. And at this time, I'm going to welcome Richard Wright, who is an educational technologist in the Academic Development Open Virtual Hub, to walk us through the first two sessions. Thank you very much, Richard.
Thank you, Denzel. And good evening, everybody. It's good to be with you again. I can't believe it's the end of the year and we're already doing the final exams webinar series. In the chat, I have pasted a link. Please complete the pre-assessment. This really helps us out to see areas, your knowledge levels before we do this webinar. There's a post-assessment as well, so that we can see where you perhaps there's gaps in what we are presenting to you in terms of your understanding, so that we can improve it in future sessions. So the link is in the chat. Please open it up and then just complete the pre-assessment as soon as you can. Then the second one I really want you to get to is the myExams guide. So this is an open site. I've pasted the link as well. I'll just do it again because it is so important. Now, this myExams guide is basically everything that we're going to cover here tonight is on this guide. And we've also got the activities that you can do on this platform to help you prepare. So it is open. It's on the UNISA, for one of UNISA's systems, but it's not on myModules anymore. It's now on the ADOVH platform. So let me quickly show you how to get started with the ADOVH platform. So if you're going to click on the link, it will take you directly to the course, but I just want to show you, you can actually also just type in adovh.unisa.ac.za. Here you will get the information for all the upcoming webinar events. But if you scroll down, there is one called STU 200, Basic Skills for Online Exams. So if you open up this one, it will open up so you can actually view it without logging in. But I really recommend, if you want to do some of the activities on here, log in and so that you can participate and you can remember what you have completed. So all you need to do to log in is basically just at the top right, you just click on log in. And then you will say yes that you are a UNISA student or staff member, since you are going to be writing your exams. And then you need to click on this button, use my UNISA email account. So this will be your MyLife account that you've got with your student account. So from the list, you just select your student account from the list, and then, or you can type it in. If it's the first time, you type in your myUNISA password, and then you will be redirected to sign in. Now, note, this is exactly the same way that it works now with myModules. And this is how you can also log in with myExams. So in the chat is the link. Visit, open up the website on your side. You'll notice there is all the information that you possibly need. But I really advise you start with the orientation, complete the pre-assessment that's on here before, and then you move through all the various lessons, because this will give you a comprehensive understanding of how everything works. So we do have mock exams on here as well, but if you're going to go to the mock exams directly, you might test it and then you realize, wait, there's some things I don't understand about this proctoring tool that we're going to be using. So if you're going to go to the site, note everything that we will be covering is on here. We will be going through the navigation, all the content on here. If you also want to catch up with the webinar recordings, we've posted webinar recordings. So the first one will be uploaded tomorrow. We've also got downloadable guides. So if you prefer everything in PDF format that you can always refer to very quickly, all the PDF guides are on there as well. And then also we've got what we call short little videos for each section as well. So for instance, if you do the navigate the myExams portal, the first thing that we will be covering, and then if everything that has, for instance, steps related to it is also accompanied by a short little video. And that video is just 3 or 4 minutes long. We try and keep it short as possible. So if you don't want to go through the whole webinar again, you just want perhaps understanding of one topic, I really advise you to go through the steps and or then to look at the short video clip at the bottom of the screen. Now, the first thing we're going to have a look at is how do you access the myExams portal, especially if you're a new student, you finally now got comfortable with myUnisa and then you used my modules, but now how are you going to use this myExams? So to access the myExams portals, there are separate portals for each college. And this is to ensure that during the exams, each one runs on different servers so that the load doesn't become too much, so that you can have a smooth experience. So just note, it's not on my modules that you're going to write your exams. It's on the myExams portals for your specific college. So now you access it. So you click on, you visit myUnisa, you click on the myExams button. Then on the myExams portal, you select the date on which you will be writing, and that will give you a list of modules for the day. Once you click on the module that you're going to be writing, you're going to be taken to a login page that we have to log in, and then from there you can access your assessments. Now, very importantly here, I do know a lot of you use your mobile devices for exams, and maybe you might be using the myUnisa My Modules app to access your study material. Remember, because this is on different portals, it will not work with the app. So please test it out on your browser of the device that you're going to be using to make sure that it is working. So just to go through the steps. So basically what you will do is you will visit myUnisa. You'll see under important links are myExams. You will select the date that you will be writing on. Very importantly, this is only today's date and 4 days in advance. So if you are writing, say, the 10th of October, the date will not show there yet. They only load this 5 days for today and 4 days in the future. So what you do is you select the date on which you will be writing, and then you will have a list of all the modules that's written that day. Then from the list, you will select your module, and this will take you to your college instance for that exam. So here you need to click on this button where you sign in using your MyLife email address. So it's exactly like you would log into the ADOV8 site that we were just on. Put in your MyLife email address, your student number at mylife.unisa.ac.za. Click on next. You type in your MyLife, myUnisa password. Remember, they always synchronize up. So it will be your myUnisa password. You click on sign in. Now this last step, first time you're going to access, you're going to get this prompt over here. So if this is your personal device, click yes. So you don't need to see this again. Tick the box and click yes. If you're always going to be using this device to log in, it will just make it a lot easier in the future. But if you're borrowing somebody's device to write the exams, you're doing it, for instance, at the internet cafe, remember to click no, because you don't want your credentials stored and then somebody else go in afterwards and they can access all your information. So once you log in, you'll notice there where it's usually my modules. Now it says my exams. That will show you that you are on the correct site. If you click on the drop down, there it will then display your exam module that you'll be writing. And then on that page, it will then have the examination. And depending on what type of exam it is, it might be a MCQ or a take-home exam, the icon will be displayed on there. As you can see, a lot the same as my modules. It's just the my exams that changes. But also what you will note is, if you log in, your profile picture is not going to show at the top right. So remember, it is a requirement to upload your profile picture on my modules. But note, when you log into myExams, it will not display there and you will not be able to upload it. It's blocked that you can edit your profile. These photos are only synced up afterwards, and it's used with the proctoring tools. But if you sign in to myExams and you don't see your profile picture, don't panic. It should not be there. So just take note of that. Now, before we go to the assessments type, let's just have a live view of this. So what you will do is you will go to myUnisa, and you will click on this My Exams button over here on the important links. Now, as you can see, it only displays 5 days in advance, and currently there are no modules being written on here. Now, as you saw in the picture, what will happen if you click on one of these dates? It will show you the list of modules written on that day. And once you click on that, it will actually take you to your college's exam. And this is what it will look like. It will ask you again to sign in with your My Life account. And as you know, it's an Office account. That's why it's got that Office logo. Follow the exact same steps. Log in. You got access to your exam. If you click on the myExams portal, it will list the modules that you qualify for writing. And from here, it will give you when it opens and what type of exam it is. So we will go through all the types and how to interpret the information on here. So as you can see, you can even do it now already. If you know the college that you're going to be using, it usually follows this pattern over here. It's the college's abbreviation, followed by myexams.unisa.ac.za. But it's not that important, but at least 5 days before you write exams, as you can see, they're still loading it, so it might not be there. But 5 days, when you've got your module listed, the day is listed on this page where you log in. Click on it, click on your module, and just to make sure everything is there, that you are ready for the exam. So you've got enough time then still to ask for support if you do need access to a module and it was not loaded. So basically, that's the myExams portal, how to access it. Now, yeah, I'm just quickly going to leave a poll with you. And this is just basically to find out what is it that you aim to learn today? What is the critical things that you're perhaps still unsure about? So just type in there a very short response. What do you want to learn about? And then just to give us also some insights, maybe there is some areas that we can even dive in further if that you perhaps need support in. But for next, I'm going to hand over to David Harperset that will take you through the different assessment types that we have at UNISA. So remember, we've got different assessment types, and then they also use different proctoring tools. So for that, I'm going to hand over to David. Thanks, David.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks, Richard, and all the colleagues and students. Thank you for joining us this evening. All right, so as Richard showed you, right, we've got the course site that's sitting on the adov.unisa.ac.za site, and you just log in with your student number or My Life email account, and then, of course, you join the ST200. So if you did join us a little bit late, we have posted the links in the chat, so you can just go grab them there and log in. Okay, so Richard has really much covered lesson number 1. Now you'll see the structure of this course, guys. It goes from lesson 1 all the way down to 7. Now, please don't go do lesson 7 if you haven't done all the other lessons, because they build on each other. And it's very important information we don't want you to miss. I see students already asking about the invigilating app. So there we go, guys. It's there in Iris as well. So we're still going to cover this information a little bit later in the session. But what I'm going to be focusing now is on lesson number 2. So all you're going to do is you click on it. and you'll see the assessment types. And there we go. So this is how it works. And as you can see, I'm not using PowerPoint. I'm actually using the site that you guys are going to use to work through the materials, just to show you how wonderfully well we've actually made this for you. So there are two types, guys. You've got multiple choice, okay? Not multiple guess, multiple choice, and we've got take-home exam. So those are the two that you're going to pretty much focus on. And yes, you might have done them already with your assignments. So the processes are going to be the same, just there's a little bit extra called the proctoring that comes in, but that's what we're here for today anyway, to make sure that you guys understand it. So when you see this little icon, you know it's a multiple choice question. And then if you see this little guy, you know, to take home, or what they call a take home assignment assessment, which means you need to type it up and you're going to submit it. So it's a very good idea to know how to use Microsoft Word so you can type quickly and be able to save it. All right, so this is basically a nice little overview. So let's go have a look at multiple choice. Now, this is how we've created this, guys. We give you the steps, as you can see here, the steps. But as you go down, you'll find we also have a video for you as well, which actually just repeats all the steps in a different format. So it really is up to you to decide if this is the way you would like to go. So there's two different options, but go through it and you'll see it's pretty much well done. Okay, so this is how it goes. So multiple choice. Now you'll see, yeah, we've got a pinkish color. Please make sure you can do this. In other words, if you're going to use a mobile device, go and play around with the settings. In other words, change it from landscape to portrait to desktop version and actually see how does it fit on your device and the browser that you're going to use. And then, of course, we've got the mock exams where you can go practice these things and go use them and practice it and understand how your device works. I also suggest have a plan B device. All right, so just in case you have a problem with plan A, that you've got plan B and that you're comfortable with plan B, whatever device you might be using. Okay, so you understand that how's it going to fit in. Now, once you open your multiple choice assessment, okay, so we're just going to show you from this point, you would basically see something like this. So it's, again, very similar to what you would have done in your assignments, and then you'll click on attempt quiz. Now, for now, guys, we're just looking at the steps. A little bit later, we're going to do it practically as well. So just take note of that. Then you'll see this little guy popping up, very happy UNISA student. He's even smiling. And now you'll notice we indicate there's a little tick there, guys. If you don't tick that little box, what happens? Start attempt does not activate, which means then you can't start the assessment. So it's very important that you tick this and you, of course, read the rules that is given to you, okay, about the validation process. Once you click on start, it's going to open something like this. It might change a little bit in terms of the graphics, because that will happen occasionally, switch with upgrades. But ideally, the same setup is going to happen. You'll see your time, you'll see which question you are on, and depending on the setup of the exam, it might not give you the option of next. Oh, next, definitely not previous, though, sorry. So previous might not be there, and your quiz navigation might not be there, because it's an assessment and you might have to answer the question and then move on to next, but it depends on how it's been set up. But for here, it's just important to know how does the interface work and how you should see your picture popping up here, which means your device is working. And that's exactly what you want to be able to do in your preparation, your mock exam. So you should be able to see yourself there. Then you say next and you can move through. It's only a few questions, guys, very basic things. But it's more for you to test your device and to make sure that you're comfortable with multiple choice questions and how to answer them. Once you're done, you're going to click on submit all and finish, and then you should get some sort of confirmation as well. So that's really how your multiple choice works. Now, the nice thing is, guys, the proctoring tool for the multiple choice is your Moodle proctoring. So it's using your webcam, so you don't have to install anything, don't have to download anything. You just need to simply test out your device. So this is the one that you're definitely going to use for your multiple choice. And as I said, here are the steps. So now we're just giving you a nice foundation, and it's going to come up a little bit later exactly how does it all work. And then, of course, as I did mention, there is the video that you can also go through just to let you sort of have a better grounding. So as I said in the beginning, please don't skip any of these things because there might be small bits of information which are actually very important to you. Okay, so that's important to remember. Okay, so once you've gone through multiple choice, you're comfortable, you see how it works, excellent. Then you can move on to the next part of the course. You can simply just click on the menu option. And then we've got take-home assignments. All right, so you'll see this little guy, very similar to what you've done already in your assessments this year. If you had written assessments, it looks like this. Okay, so you go take-home assessment. It will be basically the steps that we'll be giving you in the practical element. So it's pretty much the same. So you'll download your question paper, and then they'll give you some information on your screen. They will indicate to you that you must please save it as a PDF. So if you don't know how to save as a PDF, make sure you know how to do that. It's actually very, very easy to do, and we will share with you a little bit later how to do it. So it's very important. Okay, so PDF document, and then you'll see you'll have an add submission button. So you download your test paper, you answer your questions, and then you're going to come upload your answer. Okay, exactly like your assignments. Only difference is there's going to be a little bit of a proctoring tool in between. You must take note of the following, and this is very important. So when you're going to submit, you need to know how big the file size is. In this example, we've got 50 megabytes, which is quite big. That's huge. And it's only one file allowed. Okay, but if you're doing engineering, maybe there's diagrams and pictures and things like that. Hopefully the file size will be allowed will be a lot bigger than, hey? So take note of that. As I said, the number of files as well, very important that you can, if you've only got one, maybe you need to go to I Love PDF and combine them all into one PDF. So that's something you can also do. It's called I Love PDF. We'll show you a little bit later as well, the practicals. And of course, the file formats. This is critical. So if you scroll down a little bit, this is the example over here. Mostly with exams, you're probably only going to have PDF. So you're going to need to know how to save Word to PDF. Okay, but it's not very difficult to do. With your upload, you also got this little tick guy that you do need to tick, unfortunately, which basically says it's your work and nobody else has done it. Okay, honesty check over there. Once you've uploaded your file, you should see it over here. Then you can click on Save Changes, and then you'll see the green little bar will pop up to say, yes, there it is. And of course, you should see your answer. Up to the time when the exam period expires, you can still edit your submission, okay? And then you can basically just click on Edit, and then you can, there it is, and you can then remove your submission, the file, or remove the file itself, and then add it up again. So basically just click on Submit. And then, of course, always good idea to take a screen grab of your evidence of submission and keep it for your own records, okay? That's just a peace of mind to just make sure that you know you've submitted your work. All right, and of course, yes, there is the video as well that you can actually go and run through, which again explains all the steps for you. Okay, so guys, this is really, really your foundation that we looked at. So lesson 1 gets you into the exam platform, and you actually get to this course site as well. That's what you must do tonight. Lesson 2, we just looked briefly at the 2 different types of exams that you're going to come across. You might not get both, but you might get both. So it's good just to know how they work. Then we're going to jump back now to our colleague who's going to, Jessica now is going to be speaking about exam integrity, I think. Yep.
Yes.
And then after that, then it'll come back to me, and then we're going to look at lesson 3. So over to you, Jess.
Thank you, David. Welcome everyone here tonight. I'm going to be dealing with academic integrity, which is absolutely critical to your success at UNISA and beyond. So let's explore what it means and why it's essential in online examinations. Let's look first at about the values that academic integrity is built on. You see, the whole concept of a university is built on these values. It's our foundation. And it's not just the faculty and the staff, it's about everyone, including you, our students. We all need to embrace these values of academic integrity, because if we don't, we risk losing our credibility, and that can have very serious consequences. Just think about it for a second. If potential employers start doubting the value of your degree, that's going to be a big problem for you, right? So let's dig into these values just a little bit. First up, you have honesty. Very simple, but it has a profound impact. It's about being truthful. giving credit where it's due, keeping your promises, staying factual. And importantly, it's not just about you, it's a collective effort that creates a ripple effect across our entire academic community. Then we have trust, and it's kind of like a dance. You have to earn the trust of others while also trusting them in return. So, how can you do that as a student? Quite simply by producing work that is honest, thoughtful, and genuine. When you act with sincerity, when you promote openness, and you encourage understanding, you are building trust. Then there's fairness, which is about playing the game right. No favoritism, no biased treatment. And as students, you can demonstrate your fairness by doing your own work, by citing your sources properly, respecting the university's rules and policies, and helping to uphold the reputation of your degrees. Respect is another big one. That's about treating yourself and others with dignity. You show respect when you actually seize those opportunities to learn when they're presented to you. You are already showing respect by being here today because you're taking responsibility for your own education. And also, you got to participate in a way that is fair and kind, listening to feedback, having open communication, and understanding the impact of your actions. That is how you show respect. Then we have responsibility, which is a shared burden across our academic community. That's about holding yourself and others accountable, knowing and following the rules, setting positive examples, seeking out information from your lecturers about the policies. That is how you demonstrate responsibility. And finally, we come to courage. And that's about standing up for what's right, even when it's tough. So, upholding the highest standards of academic integrity takes a lot of guts, and it is about standing up against wrongdoing and defending integrity. So, there you have it. These are your core values of academic integrity. So, let's imagine for a moment that these values aren't followed. Say, for example, you cheat or hire someone to write your exam or copy someone else's work without giving them credit. What happens if you take those habits into the workplace? Employers are not exactly lining up to hire someone who doesn't play by the rules. So, if there is a disciplinary case on your academic record, an employer might think twice before offering you a job. Think of it like this chain reaction. If word gets out that students at this university don't uphold those values of academic integrity, people may start to question the value of a degree from here. And that's not just bad news for the university, but all graduates as well. You can even risk losing accreditation from quality assurance bodies like the Council of Higher Education or professional bodies like the South African Institute of Higher Education, who currently recognize us as a very reputable institution producing quality graduates like yourselves. The point being, it's not just about you. If other students cheat, it can tarnish the value of your degree as well. And that is why it's so important that we all uphold and protect these values together. So, what is cheating? I've told you about our values, but what traps might you be opened up to as you go through your academic journey? First up, you have the buying or selling of exam papers. This is very serious and it is illegal. Even sharing the exam paper with a friend might seem harmless, but it could lead to unexpected problems. Imagine your friend ends up selling that paper to a cheating service. Speaking of cheating services, you might come across people who try to sell you exam answers, and this is a practice known as contract cheating or ghostwriting. They might have obtained the exam paper through very shady means and then worked out the answers to sell. Some might even suggest ways to trick your lecturers, like shuffling the answers around or deliberately making errors or using white text. But here's the catch. They do often sell the same answer script to many students, and there's always someone who doesn't change a thing, which makes it easy to catch everyone else. It snowballs. Then there's another form of contract cheating, which is having someone else take your exam for you in real time. They might try to log in with your credentials and write your exam. But with UNISA's use of Iris, the Invigilator app, and proctoring software, it's very possible for us to detect if multiple assessments are being written from one location or even by the same person. Then also our exam rules currently strictly prohibit the use of generative AI like ChatGPT or Bing for writing exam answers. And in most cases, you're not allowed to look up answers online. Most cases, exams are closed book. Then we have plagiarism, which is another big issue. And that is when you use someone else's ideas and you don't give them credit. Even in a short exam, while you might not be asked to reference every single idea, you still shouldn't copy and paste from other sources, even your study guide. You need to put things in your own words to show your own understanding and how your mind is working and understanding what you have studied in that module. Then there's sharing answers. Now, this often happens around study groups, which are usually fantastic. They are great for tackling tough topics together. They also give you emotional support during those late night study sessions. But here's the thing, sometimes these groups might unintentionally slip into some not so great habits, like sharing answers during the exams or texting during the exams. So we're going to be very, very clear. Working together to answer exam questions, whether it's in person or through messaging apps like WhatsApp, it is a no-go. It might seem like you're just asking a simple question or pinpointing someone where to go look for an answer, but that crosses the line into cheating territory. Now, I am not saying ditch your study group. Far from it. The key is set clear ground rules. Make sure everyone understands that when it comes to exams, it is every person for themselves. You maintain radio silence. Show trust and honesty in your actions, even when no one is watching. Remember, it's also not just about avoiding punishment, it's about growing as an individual, learning to stand on your own 2 feet so that you are ready for the world of work ahead. So just a quick note also about some tools you'll be using during your exams. Whether it's Moodle for proctoring, Iris, or the Invigilation app, it is very crucial to use the right software. Not doing so is considered a breach of academic integrity at UNISA. So you have to use your recommended proctoring tools. Remember, it's on you to know the rules and to stick to them. You are going to be given tools to find out what type of proctoring is being used in your exam today. So another thing you need to do is make sure that you know how to use the software correctly, but you're here today and you will learn. That's going to include things like setting it up and testing it beforehand. Now, also, I want to talk about the uploading time at UNISA. This is a very specific time set aside for it, and it is important to note that this is separate from your writing time. When the clock runs out on your writing time, that is it. You have to stop because that upload time is there for you to save your work as a PDF and upload it. Or if you're writing by hand, you need that time to scan your answers into a PDF and submit that. You need that time to make sure your PDF doesn't have any restrictions as well, for example. So you can test this by sending a PDF to a friend and seeing if they can open it. And then lastly, the upload time is there to help iron out any potential issues you might have. So if you run into some sort of technical difficulties and you chose to ignore the upload time rule, then unfortunately the university will not accept your script when you try to submit it outside of that time. So let's make sure we're all prepared and on the same page, and that way we can avoid any unnecessary stress and focus on what really matters, showing what you've learned and doing your best in your exam. So I'm going to do a little quick poll as well, and you are welcome to scan the page with your phone. The QR code is there. I also have a link that I'm just going to post for you in the chat if you'd like to answer it there. And then at the end of the session, we'll have a quick look at the results and see what they have to say. Okay, so let's talk about what happens if a lecturer suspects plagiarism or cheating, just so you know what is the consequences. It's a pretty formal process and it's designed to ensure that value of fairness. First, the lecturer is going to gather all the necessary evidence. Lecturers are very well versed in spotting plagiarism, copy and paste, also ChatGPT. We've picked up the way that it writes. First, what's going to happen is your marks for the assignment or the exam in question will be put on hold while this investigation takes place. Once the lecturer has everything they need and they confirm, yes, indeed, some form of academic dishonesty has occurred, they'll issue you a warning letter. And at this point, you can either accept that warning or you can contest it. If you decide to contest it, then they will set up a formal hearing. And this hearing will weigh the evidence and determine if it's likely or not that you did commit some form of dishonest behavior. And if you're found guilty, then they will put in place sanctions. But please, students, remember you're never alone in this process and you have the right to be represented by a fellow student or an SRC member. And even then, if you're not satisfied with the outcome, you can still appeal the decision. However, please remember that that appeal decision is absolutely final. I really do hope it never comes to this. I believe all of you here today are here to uphold those values of integrity, but it is important to know the process and to warn others about it as well. Let's all strive to protect that degree. Now, I mentioned sanctions. What are these potential sanctions if you're found guilty of plagiarism or cheating? They can range quite a lot, as you can see on the page, from failing the module and needing to re-register, all the way to being suspended for a period between 6 months to 5 years. And also, it's not just about these immediate consequences. These sanctions actually appear on your academic record and they can follow you throughout your career. So imagine every time you apply for a job, that academic record, when they pull it, shows up with a mark against your integrity, which is not a good look for your future prospects and career. Then in severe or repeated cases, those consequences get even more serious. You could have all of your credits that you've earned in all your past modules cancelled. And if you're studying for a degree that's registered with a professional council, they might refuse to register you. That would mean that you cannot practice in the field that you've studied for. I know that these are very heavy consequences, but they underline just how important it is to uphold academic integrity. So, another quick poll for you. Which factor do you think probably contributes the most to some form of academic dishonest behavior? Do you think it is that pressure to achieve high grades? Do you think it's perhaps time pressure, the constraints of a heavy workload, maybe a lack of understanding about academic integrity, or is it maybe being tempted by technology that facilitates cheating? So you can again scan the code, or I've just posted a link in the chat. You're welcome to answer there and also give us some feedback. Now, with all of this in mind, let's stop focusing on the punishment and look at what you as our students can do to avoid this dishonest behavior. We need to be able to guide you on what it looks like and how to avoid it. So let's look at those 6 values: honesty, trust, respect, responsibility, fairness, and courage. We can't just assume you'll magically understand them without us highlighting them. So you'll see that we've incorporated training like this, ethics awareness, into our programs and orientations. That way we help to arm you with those knowledge and the skills to uphold the values. But also, time management is a crucial skill. I don't know if many of you have heard the concept of a notional hour, but this is the idea that 1 credit equals 10 hours of your study time. And if you can master this idea, this concept, you'll be a lot more prepared. When you look at the module and you see it's 12 credits, that means it needs 120 hours of work from you. 24 credits, 240 hours of work from you. Now, many students say that they resort to cheating because they didn't have enough time to study or complete assignments. Sometimes they want to just do as many modules as possible, but think of the number of hours and break them down into weekly study schedules. That is going to help you to plan better and to manage your workload across all your modules and make sure that you have time to take care of yourself. Self-care, very important. We also want you to know where to go if you need to practice certain skills. So let's say you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with computer and online skills, formatting Word documents, or referencing and paraphrasing skills. Well, you've just been given a very valuable resource in the form of the ADOVH link. You have been referred to the myExams MOOC, which is a massive open online course, but there are also other MOOCs on that page. And these will help you to learn about academic integrity to improve your skills, but also other skills as well. And then lastly, don't forget, if you're unsure about something, just ask for help. You can reach out to the counseling unit at your university or to your tutors and your lecturers. Lastly, the university itself is also trying to help you by getting more creative with our assessments. They are becoming more authentic and more alternative types of assessments that are designed to encourage you to use your unique voice. They're more task-oriented and reflective, which is going to make them more meaningful, and they'll be focusing on your more higher order capabilities. Now, if you ever witness academic dishonesty, it's important to act. And that's where that value of courage comes into play. If you witness it, please report it to the independently administered whistleblower hotline. The details are on the screen. Maybe take a screen grab at the moment. And just remember that while it might seem scary, standing up for what is right is the crucial part of maintaining academic integrity. Think of academic integrity like a giant puzzle. We each represent a piece. Whether you're a student, a lecturer, an administrator, everyone has a role to play in completing this big picture. And if even one piece goes missing, our picture is not complete. So let's all do our part to keep that puzzle intact. So lastly, this is your last chance to have an extra little say. What do you think, what in your opinion, is the most effective way that universities can promote academic integrity at their institutions? Please scan that QR code or post based on the link I've just put in the chat. And thank you so much for listening today. I'll hand back to David.
All right, thank you, Jessica. All right, now it's back to me again. So we're playing a bit of a pass to the fly half to the wing. All right, so of course rugby's happening, that's why we're talking like this. Okay, guys, so now we've tackled lesson 1 and 2 and actually 4. Now we're going to come back a little bit steps and we're going to have a look at lesson number 3. Now this one is dealing with the proctoring tools. So now we're going to start building a foundation about these 3 little guys. Mobile Moodle proctoring, which is also called webcam, same thing. Invigilating app, and I do see lots of questions coming in for this, so it's coming up, guys. And of course, Iris as well. So that one is usually only for the College of Science and Engineering and Technology, also known as CSET. So those are the 3 different proctoring tools. Okay, so what can we do in lesson 3? Now, this is where it gets a lot more practical for you to do. And the first one is about uploading your profile pictures. So if you go click on here, you'll see that we're going to be giving you the steps. There is a few tweaks that are currently happening with this tool, so you might not be able to edit it today, but hopefully in this week it will be resolved. And then we'll also update some of the steps, okay, because it's going to look a little bit more different. So here we go. Again, you'll see there's some pink writing, which means what? Please try out your settings on your device and see how it works. I know with certain smartphones, you might not see the edit profile link because it's the way your screen is set up. So if it's portrait or landscape, you might need to change it so that you can see the link. All right, so you're only going to do this on myUnisa, where you see my modules. Okay, so that's the only place you upload your profile pictures. That's very important to remember. You're not going to do this on myExams, only on my modules. So just take note of that. Check the steps that we are giving you. So pretty much these are the similar steps. So you'll go to your profile, you'll select it, and then you'll see there's an edit. Now it looks a little bit different. I think the edit now is on this side. So you might find the little link over here. So fine, no problem. You'll still click on it, and then you'll have to go upload your pictures. In other words, it's on your device. Very similar to a written assessment that you have to go find, you have to choose, you have to upload, and then your profile picture will be there. So try, ladies, to have a nice picture. I know, don't have to worry about the hairstyles and the makeup and all those things, guys. Just a nice, simple picture of yourself is brilliant. You can smile a little bit if you want, because it's an exam. Maybe you don't want to smile, but just a nice, simple picture will do, guys. So don't have to go out and have all the do's done. Okay, keep it simple because they use it for the exams. Then you'll click on upload. Okay, but just take note, as I said, this tool, they're all busy tweaking it at the minute. So if it's not available and you're following the steps, just don't panic. Just keep looking. But sometime this week, I'm sure it should be a-okay. All right, and then you'll upload your picture. Then immediately on your right-hand corner, you should see your beautiful picture popping up. We also do have a video for you, so you can also just follow it this way, which will again update as soon as we get the new visuals in. Okay, so a profile pic, you must do it, unfortunately, guys, because it is used for exam purposes. But remember, you're only going to upload it under my modules. Nowhere else. You don't have to worry about it then. Okay, so that's something you will still be able to do soon. Then the next thing you're going to be wanting to know is, okay, before you even look at what proctoring tools do you need to use, you might have seen it already on your exam timetable, but let's first go see the different ones. I'm just going to type in, for example, English, just to see what examples come up. So you'll type in your module code, for example, and then you'll see something like this popping up. All right, so module arrangement means you must go and check and see your announcements in the module, because there would be something very specific that you need to do there. It could be something like a portfolio assessment that you need to submit. So in that case, there's a different rules, different steps that you will need to apply. But that should have been already covered during the semester anyway in your module site. So just remember, then you go and check and see what exactly is your lecturer saying. Then we've got these two modules. The one you can see is multiple choice. Okay, and then it tells me I need mood or proctoring. Then I know, okay, this tool I need to use. If ENG 1501 is also your module, then you know it is a take-home assessment, assignment assessment. And then means I need to practice or understand the invigilating app. So this is one way to quickly check which tools do you need to use. If any, doesn't mean you might not have any. But most likely, if you don't, you'll have one of these options really popping up. Just remember, CSET students, you guys would have IRIS, eh? Good. So once you've got your modules, you know which tools you're going to need to go practice. Let's go look at the very first one. Okay, so the Moodle proctoring webcam. Remember what I said? It's built into Moodle itself. You don't need to install. You don't need to download. All you do need to do is make sure your webcam is working. So every 30 seconds or so, it'll take a picture of you. So that's important to remember. Again, you might remember this little icon, same guy. So you go to the exam site, you'll click on your module, pretty much exactly like Richard showed you, and then you will click on this to begin the exam. Once it pops up, you'll see all the rules, okay, how much time you've got. Very importantly, please take note of the exam rules or the guidelines that are given to you, especially with the uploading of your answers and the invigilating app as well for those that need to use it. Okay, invigilating app is still coming up, but it's very important to know that time slot that they're giving you. So take note of that. Once you attempt the quiz, guys, very, very importantly, you should get this little guy popping up, okay, in your web browser. You do need to say allow. If you say block, you'll see there's a little symbol that pops up to indicate your camera is blocked. And that's a problem because against the rules, you have to allow the camera, okay? It's not going to record sound, the proctoring tool, but it is going to record what you're doing. Okay, so that's what's quite important about it. Then you're going to say attempt a quiz, so pretty much like what we did before. You're going to need to tick the block. You'll see the camera will automatically activate, and then you'll click on start to begin, just like we did before, what we covered in lesson number 2. So this lesson, guys, again, we've got the video, you can watch it, but this one is very important to note is this little piece here about your camera now coming available. This is why it's so important to practice with your Plan A device and your Plan B device to make sure that this is working 100%. If you need to update your devices, guys, especially with updates, Windows updates, device updates, try to get to your nearest campus where there's free internet and you can quickly download and update your devices before the exam period starts, just to make sure everything is running correctly. Okay, so great. That's your Moodle proctoring. Now we do have information about the Invigilating app and the Iris. I'm just showing you where to access information, but I'm going to now hand over to the colleague that's going to be dealing with the Invigilating app, and after her name's Erica, then it'll be Richard, who's going to speak about the Iris app as well. So colleagues, I'm going to hand over to you, but important students, you just know that the information is still under lesson 3. So if you want to refer back, come to lesson 3. There are the 3 apps that you might be using, and then you can also just work through the information that's provided here as well. So hopefully, Erica, are you ready to roll? Because I can hand over to you.
I'm ready. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Erica de Toy. I'm from the Invigilator app, and I'm just going to take you through a few basic things that you need to know about the app. I just wanted to switch on my camera so that you know what I look like, but I'm going to switch it off now and share my screen with you. Sorry about that. That's the wrong one. Let's just try again. Right, there we go. I just briefly want to take you through the different checks and balances of the Invigilator so that we are completely transparent and you know what is required of you. So what you're going to do is you're going to download the Invigilator app, and depending on your device, you're either going to go to the Apple App Store, you're going to go to the Huawei App Gallery or Google Play Store. And the app is compatible with any entry-level smartphone, so you really don't need the latest device to run the Invigilator on. And then once you've accessed your app store, what you want to search for is the Invigilator. And the way you'll know that you've got the correct app is if you see that little owl with the big glasses, that is our logo. So once you've downloaded the app, you are going to go through a registration process, and in that registration process, you will be asked to take a master selfie. Then during a test, the following checks will take place. First of all, we'll be asking you at randomized intervals for a selfie check, and we use artificial intelligence to compare that photo with your master photo, thereby ensuring it is the correct student taking the exam. Secondly, the app also performs randomized voice recordings. So we detect human speech here. So if you've got background noise like generators or traffic or construction, don't worry about it. It is only voice activated. And what we're looking for here, obviously, are examples where students are discussing the content of the paper with someone else. Then, ladies and gentlemen, it's always very important that you have some form of identification with you. It can either be an ID, a student card, a driver's license, it doesn't really matter, but you will be asked to take a photo of that. You might also be asked to take other photos, such as taking a photo of the current page that you're busy writing, or maybe the desk where you're writing. Finally, on this slide, we'll also be performing a GPS location mapping. So we map your position where you're at when you're taking the test. And what we're looking for are instances where students are writing in very close proximity. Now, guys, I don't want you to worry about this because a failure on the GPS location mapping is not a transgression in itself. We do know that students often write in student accommodation or in a library, and therefore they will fail the GPS location mapping. However, your lecturer will be provided with a report in which we indicated which students were very close to each other. Those scripts are then marked directly after each other, and the lecturer is on the lookout for any possible copying that might have taken place. Then, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't have a laptop, so you only have a smartphone, obviously you need to use your smartphone not just for invigilation purposes, but also to be able to access your assessment on the UNISA site. So for you, we have a built-in browser. And once you've scanned the QR code, you can click on a certain button that will take you to your login page, and you can then access your assessment while you are still being invigilated. Right, ladies and gentlemen, obviously the Invigilator app is used for take-home assessments, which means that you would either be writing out by hand your solution or typing your solution. And the Invigilator will require of you to also upload your script to our database. Very important, this does not replace your upload to myUNISA. So you will in effect do a double upload, once to UNISA and once to our database. Please make sure that you do upload the script. There are consequences for not uploading your script. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to speak about the demo test a little bit later on, but when you perform the demo test, it will give you an opportunity to practice how to upload your script. It's very easy. Once the invigilation has stopped, you're given 10 minutes. In that 10 minutes, you need to take a photo of each of your answer sheets, and we then convert that into a PDF document, which is uploaded to our database. And then finally on this slide, we also monitor out of app time. So guys, this is really crucial. Unless you are reaching out to our help desk, now just to explain a little bit more about that, we have a WhatsApp help desk, so you cannot call the number, but you can send us a WhatsApp of any technical problems that you might be experiencing about the app. That is the only reason why you will ever be allowed to spend time out of the app. So this out of app time is tracked and monitored and recorded and obviously reported back to your lecturer. And very important, ladies and gentlemen, this out of app time can also lead to a transgression. Right, let me just close this specific slideshow and get ready for the next thing that I wanted to show you. Just give me a moment. Sorry about that. Just open up the site. Sorry, guys. I've lost the email that I was looking for. Let me just find it. Right, I'm not seeing it right now, so I'm just going to talk you through. Oh, here we go. Let's see. There we go. I've got it now. Okay, let me share my screen with you. Right. So as mentioned before, the proctoring tools are available in lesson 3. So if you click through to lesson 3 and you browse down a little bit, you'll get to the Invigilator app tab. And if you click on that tab, there is a host of information that will be very beneficial for you to read through. So I'm not going to go through absolutely everything. I just want to take you through a few basic things. Now, as I've mentioned before, depending on your device, you're going to download the Invigilator app from one of these 3 app stores. And then we have a short video, it's about 7.5 minutes long, that explains the student experience to you in a very interactive and user-friendly way. So I really want to encourage you to watch the video and to familiarize yourself with the video. Then just below the video, there is a very important link. It says the Invigilator App Student User Guide. So ladies and gentlemen, if you open up that link, it will take you to our Student User Guide, which is a step-by-step guide on exactly how to use the Invigilator app. And I think the most important page in the Student User Guide is on page 8, where we give you a QR code that will take you through a demo test. Now, don't worry about the word test. We're not testing anything. It's just an 8-minute simulation of exactly what the app will be doing while it is invigilating you. And it's so important to do this because you get to familiarize yourself with the app without having the stress of being in a test. And having done the demo, once you get to your assessment, you're going to feel completely comfortable. You're not going to be stressed about the app because you know exactly what is required of you. And then if I just browse down a little bit, I want to focus at the bottom here on our help desk number. So you'll see it there, 073 505 8273. So just a reminder, don't try and call the number. It is a WhatsApp number only, but the benefit of that, of course, is that you can send us a voice note, a video, or a screenshot of whatever the problem might be. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you to download the app, to go through the registration and to do the demo as quickly as you can. Please don't wait until the day of your assessment and try and do it then. Students who wait until the last minute run into trouble and they run out of time, and that means that they are not invigilated on the day. So at least 3 days prior to your first assessment, please make sure that you download, you register, you'll be asked to calibrate, and then do the demo so that you are completely comfortable with the app. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is all from my side. From the Invigilator app side, I want to wish you the best of luck for your upcoming assessments. The Invigilator app really is very user-friendly, but like with any new technology, you have to play around with it a little bit in order for you to feel comfortable. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be switching over to the chat function and taking any questions that you might have there. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Erica, for that overview of IRIS, the Invigilator app. We will, when we get to the mock exam section, go in a bit as well to have a look at how do you actually test this out. You've downloaded the app, you've created your account. How can you quickly test it on, to get a real world experience of how it will work from UNISA's side. So I'm just quickly going to talk about the IRIS app. So we're not going to go into too much detail with the IRIS invigilation. And the reason is IRIS is currently only used by the College of Science, Engineering and Technology. So if you are studying something with, for instance, engineering, computer science, all of that, you're going to be using IRIS. And you will be using IRIS for both take-home exams and MCQ type of assessments. Now, what they usually also will do is on your exams portal, you will be linked to an IRIS preparation site as well, and the college will have their own sessions to prepare you. But to get you started, I just want to also just note before we go ahead, if you are doing a module within CSET, you will also be using IRIS. So that means you will have to then prepare for this as well. So use that proctoring lookup tool. Make sure what proctoring tools you will be using. And remember, you will never be using 2 proctoring tools at the same time. It will only be one. So if we look at the IRIS invigilation, so it's only used by the College of Science, Engineering and Technology. It only runs on your laptop or desktop computer. It's a Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge extension. And then it requires a microphone and a camera or webcam if you're on a desktop. So yeah, it will actually record your screen, it will record your audio, and it will record you through the camera as well. So this is a app, can I say, where it uses all the features that's possibly available. So if we look at the site, it's under Moodle proctoring tools, iris invigilation. So remember, on EC set, there is a video to help you guide you through how to set it up, but it's actually very, very easy. So all you need to do is under the instructions, there is a guide to take you step by step how to do it. Or you can even go to the Iris official website. And from here, you can very quickly download the Chrome extension or the Edge plugin. So depending on what the browser you are using, so I'm, for instance, using Edge. So I'll just click on the Edge browser.
Mm.
And I will select Get. Okay. And then it will add the extension to my browser. So a few things to note about this, as we mentioned, it does require access to your webcam. It will pop up show here at the top. I'll just zoom in here a bit, that the iris extension has been entered. And then from here, it's basically set up. So once you start your examination, it will pop up automatically. So all you need to do in preparation is to download the Iris Invigilator app, and then also do the mock exam to make sure that it is working. So if I go back here to our guide, we've downloaded it. So now I can basically start testing it. So you can click on this button at the bottom. It's the Iris mock exams. Let's quickly do this way. I see that the link is incorrect, so I'll quickly fix it now before you even get there. So here is the link. I'll post it in the chat to the Iris mock exam that you can go test out now already. So if you're a CSET student, you want to get ready with Iris, click on the link. The first time you just enroll yourself, and then there are two types of assessments that you can test. So the first one is the file upload assessment. As you can see, clicked on it, it pops up automatically. Remember to allow the camera and your microphone, and you will also need to share your screen. If you're using the dual screen setup, you unfortunately will have to plug out to one screen. It only allows for one monitor. So if you're just using your laptop, it's fine. But if you have a desktop with multiple screens for the exams, you will need to use only one. So this will work with the file upload and then the MCQ type of assessments as well. So it will pop up automatically, and then you can start the setup and do the testing. Now, just one thing to note here, it will give you this message that to attempt this quiz, you will need to know the quiz password. Now, a lot of students see this. This is a standard Moodle message because it does actually have a password, but they don't share the passwords. The passwords are filled in automatically. So that's actually how you can check that your Iris plugin installation is up and running. Is if the password is not filled in automatically, that means there is something wrong with your setup. So just uninstall the extension and then reinstall it from there. So as mentioned, there will still be special sessions from the College of Science and Engineering specifically for Iris. But if you want to get started with a quick, how can I say, setup and test it out, make sure it's working. The information is on this portal as well. But because it's currently just a subset of students, we do not cover too much as the college does cover more information. Now, I just want to give you an overview here because we did give you a lot of information. So if you're going to be doing an MCQ exam, it's going to be Moodle proctoring. If you're going to be doing a take-home exam, it's Invigilator app. If you're with College of Science, Engineering and Technology, or one of your modules is with the college, you will be using Iris Invigilation, or even if it's an MCQ or take-home. You will never use two types of proctoring. Now, I saw in the chats there's a lot of questions regarding what happens, for instance, if I have to go to the bathroom, or somebody walks into my office or where I'm sitting, I've got perhaps kids also running around. What happens if I get flagged for that? So yeah, I really want you to take note. The Invigilator apps even though it's got built-in technologies, it's going to listen and perhaps flag you and say you were not at the desk at that time. But if you said, oh, I'm quickly going to the bathroom, or somebody walked in and they start chatting to you before they realize, oh, you're busy with the exam, you might get flagged. But remember, there's still a person that will actually go and review that recordings to make sure that, how can I say, that you did try to be, how can I say, unlawful through the exam type. So, you can be safe on that, even though it does flag you automatically. There is still a physical person that's going to go through the material to see if any academic irregularities have taken place. But as I say, if you want to go to the bathroom, say you're going to the bathroom. If somebody walked in, just say, oh, my aunt walked in and they brought my coffee or whatever. Just make sure that the people that perhaps reviewed it knows the content or the context within that. Now, when it comes to load shedding, unfortunately, there you will have to use your schedule to see if you can't get a space where you can write from. Remember, most campuses, we've also got digital access centers, all of those places that's got Wi-Fi as well, where you can link up. Unfortunately, they don't give specific venues to write in on campuses, but if you're on the campus in your car, you can actually join from there, or you even in one of the study spaces that are empty. So please plan ahead. If you know your device is broken, borrow somebody's device for the day and make sure that it's set up. So yeah, I'm actually going to just quickly release a poll just to let us know what type of device are you actually connecting with today. So you can complete this poll that's on the screen, but let's just have a look at, you have to prepare, you're on our online student. So when it comes to your smartphone, make sure it's not older than 5 years, that it's up to date to the latest operating system. It can access the internet. It's got space for the proctoring apps and then the recordings that's on there as well. That's one thing that usually occurs is your phone might just have enough space for the app, the Iris app, and then doesn't have space actually to save that recordings. And then always make sure it's got a working camera, microphone, and sound so you can hear the prompts that are given to you. And I really want you to focus on this access to a smartphone. We've all got our rich cousins or rich uncle that we can perhaps borrow it from for the day. So make sure you've got a good equipment for that day. And then when it comes to your laptop or your desktop, so just remember, the Invigilator app runs on your smartphone. It's not necessarily, I would recommend doing then your MCQ on the same phone. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. Rather than borrow somebody else's phone just for the Iris app and one to fill it in on another phone. You can also, preferably if you've got a laptop, let the app run on your phone and you do the assessment on your laptop. It just gives you a little bit, how can I say, it makes it a lot easier. But remember, the Invigilator app, it runs, it starts, you put it down, it will prompt you, it wants a photo, it will prompt you, you must take a picture of your surrounding. Once you're done, you take a picture of your scripts or the paper that you wrote on. If you did it on your laptop, you typed it out, anything like that, you just scan it in every page on the laptop screen. Now, just remember when you are using Iris, if you were College of Science, Engineering, Technology, your laptop will need to have a working camera and microphone and be able to capture your screen. So you need to install that extension. If you're just using Moodle proctoring, it doesn't need to have sound. All it does, it runs in the background, but we will see now when we do the mock exam exactly how it works. So let's have a look at the different mock exams that is available. So as we said, please do first go through the content before you attempt the mock exams. So we've seen now on the Iris, you will go at the bottom, click on this link. I will update the link now. I see it's going to incorrect URL. Now, so this one is on ADOVH, the website, and all the different types of iris invigilation is available on here. So please come and do them, test them out, make sure that your iris installation is working. If we go log into we go to this website over here, the mock exams. So currently we have the mock exams on myUnisa. So I'm just going to sign in quickly. So you just go to the mock exams. I'll give you the direct URL now as well. Okay, so on my modules, it will be mock exams. So first time it's going to ask you to enroll. So all you need to do is you click on the Enroll Me button, and you will have access to the course site, and then it will always display at the top here as well. Now, don't panic if you get, for instance, with the myExams or myModules, a notification to say, oh, your results is this. Remember, all of these are there to support you. It's not there. It's not going to count towards your year mark, and you won't get penalized if you do not, for instance, do one. So on this mock exam site over here, we've got the instructions, what you need to have completed before attempting this. We really recommend you to go through these resources before attempting it for the first time. But essentially, we've got an MCQ and a take-home assessment. So as you know now, you are not with the College of Science, Engineering, Technology. You use the proctoring tool, lookup tool, and you know you're going to be using Moodle proctoring. So let's look at this one first. So this is what it will look like more or less on the day. You go to your assessment. It will ask you the first time a pop-up, allow camera for this session. You need to click on allow. If you accidentally click on block, you will need to go back and allow it again. Now with this one, you can have a look through the instructions. So it will tell you it's going to be using Moodle proctoring. It's going to count 10 marks. You've got 10 minutes to complete it. And then you can actually do an attempt here. So we're actually giving you 10 attempts. But here you can see the message. To continue with this quiz attempt, you must open your webcam. So remember, if you're doing this on a phone, that will just be your camera. It will give you the same message. And it will take some of your pictures randomly during the quiz. So what does it tell you? It doesn't record sound. It only takes random pictures. So a lot of people are wondering, you know, especially with the Moodle proctoring, am I being recorded at all with your audio? No, it just only works on random pictures. So if we're going to go to this one, so it's MCQ, we know it's Moodle. So let me just click on reattempt quiz. So it will pop up your camera. You need to click this box. I agree with the validation process. It will give you a time limit as well. How long do you have to start this assessment? So all you need to do is click on Start Assessment, and then it will look a lot like the quiz assignments that you have done, before during the year. The only difference will be is the webcam will show here on the right. Now, one thing to note about the navigation. Some of the assessments are set up that you can only go forward. You can't go back. So that means you have to answer the question before proceeding to the next one. What happens if you experience load shedding, your computer restarts, or the phone switches off? It saves all your answers as you proceed. So that means when you come back, you just start off from where you left off. It will have saved it automatically. And if you unfortunately run out of time, it will submit what you have done already. So what you do here is you just go through all the questions. Let me just open up there so you can see the webcam is running there. So we go through all the questions that's on here until you get to the last one. Now note here, the questions are also randomized. So in your exams, if you are even sitting with somebody in the same venue, you will not have the same questions. They are big databases of questions and they are randomized. So for any of you that might have wanted to share on a WhatsApp group or anything, the person on the other side will not be having the same questions. So make sure that you look at the questions correctly and answer it truthfully. So once you've done, you can review that you've answered all the questions. If it's allowed, you may return to attempt. But as we mentioned, some of them you have to answer before you can continue to the next one, because you won't be able to come back. Now, once you're happy with everything, we've still got time left. You click submit all and finish. I'll go here, submit all and finish. So just make sure that pop-up that came up there, the second one, that's where a lot of phones struggle sometimes. So go do these mock exams, make sure that your setup is working with these ones. Now, as you can see, Moodle proctoring, very easy. It just uses your camera. You just need to make sure your camera is working. There's no setting up beforehand or anything like that, something that you have to do before or after. It just starts. If the assessment starts at 9 o'clock, you log in, you start the assessment, you complete it by before the time or within the time allocation, you submit and you're done. Very, very easy. Second one is a take-home assessment. As we know, here we should have downloaded the app already. So we actually have the link there as well for if you need to go and review. Now, what happens on the day? So you've downloaded the app, you created an account. Now you can do the demo that the invigilator actually gives you. But this one also gives you a real life demo, you can basically say. So what you would do here, you will then say you're starting at 9 o'clock. So it's 10 minutes before you're starting. You log into my modules. You are ready. You open the app. You scan the QR code. You download the questionnaire for this exam. So the questionnaire will contain the questions, and sometimes this will also contain the QR code that you need to use. So what you do is you scan the QR code, invigilation starts. It will ask you to take perhaps a picture of your environment or of yourself. You take your phone. While the app is running, it runs next to you. It doesn't need to be on the whole time. It will fade automatically into the background. But as long as it's the app is the main app running on your phone. So during the assessment, it will prompt you, ping, okay, you need to take a picture of your environment and then perhaps a picture of your ID document. So remember just to have that ID documents available as well. So that's why it's so important to do these mock exams so that you know exactly what the steps are. Now what happens here, after you complete it, it will have this, let me just remove my submission here quickly. Continue. So my advice is, say you're writing from 9 to 12. Now it's still, I'm a quick writer, so I finished at 11:50. That means there's still half an hour left before, the due time. So then I would suggest scan in your script if you've written it out. If you did it in Word, you will go and save it as a PDF document and get it ready for uploading. You will sign back in here to the exam portal. You will add a submission because you still got enough time. If you are writing and it's 12 o'clock and then you're done, you remember you may not write after the due time. That cutoff times are only there to give you that additional time to, how can I say, upload. So now it's 12 o'clock. What I suggest you do the uploading with the Invigilator app first, because it only gives you 10 minutes. So myExams, the portals, give you 30 minutes. So you know you've got that time. First thing you do, start scanning, take pictures with the Invigilator app of your documents, of your laptop screen. You start the uploading process. And then you come and upload or submit on myExams. So just note, so if you've got enough time, do myExams first. Get it done. Remember, that's the one that's going to get marked. If you're at 12 o'clock, you do have less time for the Invigilator app. So come and submit on the Invigilator app and then submit on myExams. But make sure you've got enough time. If you've got an error message or anything like that during your uploading process, once the uploading started in Invigilator app, you actually get quite a lot of times, if there's any errors, we will submit in the background. But with myExams, you only get 50 minutes. So if you get an error while it's still uploading, don't worry about it. Just focus on submitting on myExams. So what you will do here, you'll come here, you'll go add a submission. You'll acknowledge that it's your own work. You'll note what the file size is, the limit, and how many files you can upload. Now, also, it will only allow PDF documents. So make sure you do know how to save your Word document as PDF. And if you've got multiple documents, an app that you could perhaps use online, it's called I Love PDF. So if you perhaps need to merge a PDF, or say it's too big, you want to compress it, you can use this website as well. It's ilovepdf.com. Now, just when you compress it, remember to make sure that it's still readable. If you're going to be using your phone, a nice app to use to scan in is a OneDrive app. You can sign in with your MyLife email account. It's available on Android and various devices, by Apple as well. And it's got the scan feature. So it actually scans it directly to PDF. So just practice beforehand, but it's also a very nice app to use. If you've written it out and you don't have a scanner, just use the OneDrive app and then you scan it into PDF. So once you're ready, then just get the correct one here. Now, jumped around here a bit. Just get the correct one to show you on. Where did my screen go? Anyway, let me just go here back to my UNISA. I typed it in this one. So now once you're then ready to submit, you just go to your exam again. You log into the myExams portal. You've got now your PDF document. You come here, you say you're going to add a submission. So remember, you have to submit it before that cutoff time. So here, first thing, tick the box. You're going to make sure your file is PDF format and that it's only one file if it only allows for one file. Now, what you can do is, for instance, then select the file from your computer or your device and then upload this file. So I'm just going to save changes. And there we go. I get this is submitted for grading. This might be yellow if you're within the cutoff time, but as long as it's submitted, we're good to go. But I do recommend this, click on this file submission over this one, just to make sure you uploaded the correct file. A lot of times, in the heat of exams, you might be uploading a question paper, like I did over here, or even a tutorial letter because it's got more or less the same name. So make sure that you submitted it. And then also you've got this reference ID. Perhaps take a screenshot of it or just copy and paste it because this is your proof of submission. So you do need this in case something perhaps goes wrong and your file gets lost or damaged. Now, I saw earlier there's also a question about technical difficulties during the exam. So luckily, you're going to be writing on the myExams portal. Each college's got a different exams portal. So that means the load is spread out a lot more than what we have on my modules. So usually we do not experience any technical difficulties with overloading on the exam portals. So we're good to go on that side. So this is basically, so go have a look at the mock exams, test out the MCQ. Luckily, you can do this even if you're not gonna, if you're not even gonna write this. But just note, the Invigilator app, you will only be able to register on the app if you are going to be using the Invigilator app. So that's why you need to use the proctoring tool. Make sure that it is that you are going to be using it. And usually the licenses, if you're especially a new student, might only be given to you, say, a week before the exam. So if you're not able to log in now, verify that you are going to be writing with Invigilator app. You can WhatsApp the Invigilator app team. They will see if there's any problems on their side or advise whether the licenses have not been issued yet. But please go and have a look at these ones before you get started. So as you can see, please go do the mock exams. The links are on there. We will also update them even more. Now, I'm going to do a quick poll as well. If we just have a look at our polls. Oh, yes. I saw earlier there was somebody that asked about scanning in the poll, came up as well. So remember, a good tool to use if you're using your phone is the OneDrive app. So just look for the Microsoft OneDrive app and you sign in with your MyLife email address. Then if we look at results, as we can see, a lot of people on their phones. So yes, if you're going to be using your phones, please test it out. As I mentioned, if you're doing the Invigilator app, perhaps have to try and get another device. So you've got 2 devices. So the one last poll I'm going to do from my side is just to see how you feel for the exams. So please complete this as we pass over to Jessie and her team from the Student Support Contact Center that will guide you on what are the support channels that's available and how do you make contact with them, especially during the exams. They've got special lines dedicated so they can respond to you very quickly. So thank you, Jessie. Over to you.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Good afternoon and good afternoon to our students. My name is Jessie Sefulu. I'm the Deputy Director for the Contact Center, and I just want to take you through how we are going to be supporting you as you start your journey of your assessments and exams. The contact center is a centralized environment that supports your whole student journey. But for this evening, we are just going to be focusing on how to get the help when you are writing your exams. So our student support entry points that we currently have is the 0800 number. Please make sure that when you're calling the 0800 number, you choose the correct option, which is option 4. That option allocate you to the support staff that is trained or to be able to support and respond to all your inquiries relating to the exams. If you call the number and you raising an inquiry, and please make sure that you get a case number from the consultant that you speak to. The number is a toll-free number. Even from your cell phone, it's a toll-free number. So don't be shy to call that number and make sure that you select the correct option. We then have a mailbox for exam inquiries, which is exam inquiries at UNISA. That is there as well to make sure that you are ring-fenced and prioritized and assisted immediately with all your exam inquiries. We're also available on your Facebook and Twitter via chat, but in there, you don't type on the corporate page and start chatting. You must DM us. Then the DM comes directly to the contact center, and we have consultants that are allocated to support you during the exam period. But remember, you need to DM us. We do not respond on the corporate front page. We respond to the DM that comes through to the contact center. DMs via Facebook and Twitter. We then have your web chat. Web chat is on the My Life portal page. It's a small blue bubble at the bottom of the page. That when you chatting there to consult, you come through to the SCSE consultants that are there and ready to support you. We also have the self-help FAQ via my UNISA as well that can answer your questions for when you are training, how to upload the apps, what Iris looks like and everything. So that information is there available for you as well as a student. When contacting the contact center, please make sure that you state your student number. Make sure that you email us with your mylife email address, because with that we can pick up your student number on the email address. Leave your contact details on how we can reach you. Give us a full description of the challenge, including the print screen and the error message. Request a case number when making contact to the contact center. Make sure that when you are calling, you listen to the prompts. Press 4 is the one that is available and allocated to the exam. The following screen is or support you on your escalation. Please note that when you're coming to this escalation part, you need to have attempted to get the help via the other mediums of entry. We have the supervisors that are available to assist you with an escalation, but you need to provide them with a case number to show that you've come through to the contact center. We are here to support you to make sure that you don't get unnecessary stress, but you need to make sure that you prepare yourself in time, downloading all your apps that you need to download of Invigilator. Make sure that your username and password works well in advance so that it doesn't go through the process of resetting while you are 10, 15 minutes into your exam. We are here to support you. We are open from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock, Monday to Friday for you. And then we are also open on Saturday to support your exams. Good luck and all of the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessie. So please take down those contact numbers. So when you perhaps have problems on the day, that you can access them very, very quickly. And then up next is Pintias from the Oxford Center that will just give us introduction of what do you do if you're a student with special needs, perhaps you need some additional time or special arrangements. Thank you, Pintias.
Thank you so much, David, and good evening, students. As mentioned, my name is Pintias Nkuna from Oxford. Oxford provides a wide range of services for students with disabilities, but today our focus will be on exam preparations. I'd like to start with this question. Did you disclose your disability? I'm sure you'll get the reasons why I'm asking these questions at the end of the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I must mention that students with disabilities are not in any way inferior than those without disabilities. And students are encouraged to apply for special examination arrangements because it is not automatic. There's a form on the chart. My colleague posted the form there to apply for special examination arrangements. Please remember that only students who completed the special examination arrangement form will be exempted from proctoring. If you did not complete the form, please do so. We also assist students in terms of alternative assessments in cases whereby they are unable to write exams online. They can also do oral exams. Students, those of you who applied for special examination arrangements, please check your myLife email. The confirmation is only sent to your myLife email account, nowhere else. If you are using a Gmail or Yahoo, then we are not sending it there. If you did not receive the confirmation letter, please contact us. You'll see our contact details at the end of the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we encourage students not to conceal their disabilities. And while we respect your right to disclose or not to disclose your disability, remember, students who does not disclose their disabilities may not receive or demand reasonable accommodation from no university because we won't be aware of your individual needs. I must say that UNISA does not apply the one-size-fits-all approach because two students may present with the same disability only to find that their needs are completely different. It is therefore important to disclose so that we understand your individual needs. Whether your disability is visible or invisible, please do disclose so that we can reasonably accommodate you. And those who acquire disability during their studies, we encourage you to inform us. For students who did not receive their exam results, even after completing the special examination arrangement form, please drop me an email because students with disabilities are exempted from proctoring. The reason for this is because the proctoring tools does not accommodate the diverse needs of students with disabilities. My colleague earlier mentioned that the Invigilator app involves taking selfie and pictures of your script. You could imagine what will happen to a blind person won't be able to take a selfie of themselves, or a deaf person won't be able to hear the prompt. As students, I must say that we are aware of students who are reluctant to disclose their disabilities due to fear of stigma and victimization. Please disclose your disability so that we can support you. No one will stigmatize you when you disclose your disability. The purpose of disclosure is to ensure that you are reasonably accommodated. As I said earlier, that this presentation will only focus on these special examination arrangements. Now that you are aware that what you need to do, it is your responsibility as a student with a disability to contact us and request the service that is relevant to you. This is our email address, acsuite@unisa.ac.za. In conclusion, I wish you all the best with your exams. I thank you.
Thank you, Pintias. So I'm just quickly going to share my screen again. So if you've got any questions, please make contact with oxford@unisa.ac.za. If you do need any additional assistance, but please, you have to complete the forms and then do have to get approval to get this accommodation. So with that, I'm also going to post in the post-course assessment. After now doing this, how can I say, viewing everything about how to do the proctoring tools work, the different types of assessments, and how you're basically going to do the mock exams after this to make sure your setup is working. You please go and complete this so that we do know if there's any areas that you still need assistance with. Now, what I also want to show you on the exams portal, the recordings will be loaded on here. So it's all the way at the bottom. So what proctoring webinar recordings. So currently, this is the first one for this term. So we will upload this tomorrow morning. So it will be under webinar recordings. Then also, we go to the home page, our schedule. So today was the first one, at 6 o'clock. So on Saturday, we have a repeat, and that will be at 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, on next Tuesday at 10, we've got a special session. We call these blast sessions. So these blast sessions, you basically join after you've joined one of these webinars. So that means you go now and you test your setup, you find out what proctoring tool you'll be using, you do the mock exam. Now you perhaps have problems or you need advice on certain areas. These sessions will allow you to open your mics, you can ask your questions, and it's really there where we can assist each other. So We really encourage everybody in these sessions. You know, we've all got different situations. How do we deal with this? So this is a sharing and support session. Now you'll notice there are two. So if you want to know more about academic integrity and online assessment skills, please join the second one. But if you want to have problems with, assessment types or proctoring tools, you can join the first one. So we have these two sessions at the same time to reduce the number of students in each session. Now, also on the 5th of October, we will send out communication as well, specifically on online assessment skills. So this really will guide you through how you approach different types of questions. How do you approach an MCQ? How do you spot, where they are trying to trick you perhaps? So we're going to have a special session on that will cover all these different types of assessments, how the questions are asked, how do you approach to answer them so you can get the most marks possible. So with that, I'll just hand over to Denzel for the closing, and I'll leave open this URL. This is if you have not got it yet, you can scan it with your cell phone or just type in the URL in the bottom, and you will get to the open course where you can go through all the material. Thanks, Denzel.
Thanks very much, Richard, for that. And thank you, colleagues, for the presentations as well, and also for the chat responses. We've seen a lot of questions and comments coming on the chat as well. And it's actually very, very good that you are asking all these type of questions, because that's the way we can actually provide you some kind of strategic support and answer and assist you with your many challenges that you're experiencing. I want to say thank you to each one of you for joining us. We promised 2 hours and we're just under 2 hours. So we really maximized our time. We also want to thank all the facilitators that have presented, took off the time in the evening, presented, and have taken the time to really provide those strategic support for you. So you've noticed that we're really starting these training sessions much earlier. And the reason why we're starting it earlier as well is that you can come back for a few of the other sessions. And as I said, the best way for you to prepare is come for a few of these sessions, get used to it, pose your questions in the chat, please. As well as Richard has mentioned, our blast sessions. If you haven't attended any of our student blast sessions, please do, because you can actually ask your questions, share your screen, and we will provide that one-on-one guidance for you so that you are 100% confident for the upcoming examination. We know that if you lack the digital skills, it's an added psychological impact on you, and we don't want you to get into the examination with a disadvantage. We want you to purely concentrate on your subject-specific skills so that you acquire these digital skills right at the beginning and you're comfortable enough. So with that said, thank you very much to each one of you for joining us. And on behalf of the Adolf team and the rest of the colleagues that are here, we wish you all the best in the upcoming examination. And please remember that this is your time to shine, as you've worked hard in this short semester as well. So to each one of you, we wish you all the best, and please take care of yourselves, study hard, prepare yourself, and we look forward to seeing you in the upcoming sessions as well. So take care, everyone, and good evening, and God bless to each one of you. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your exams.
Thank you, colleagues. Enjoy your exam, students.